Have you ever paused in the middle of a hectic day, scrolling through social media, rushing from one meeting to the next, juggling endless notifications, and wondered, what is all this for? Are we truly living, or just reacting? Do we know ourselves, or are we merely performing for the algorithm, the boss, the tribe? Over 2,400 years ago, a man in a robe, walking barefoot through the dusty streets of Athens, asked a similar question, and was condemned to death for it. His name was Socrates, and his crime, encouraging people to think deeply about how they lived. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But what does that really mean? And is it still relevant in today's hyper-connected, morally tangled world? Welcome to The Unfolding Journey, the channel where we dive into the deep waters of philosophy, ethics, and personal transformation. If you're the kind of person who craves substance over sound bites, reflection over reaction, and wants to understand how timeless wisdom can help us live more meaningful lives today, you're in the right place. So grab a cup of something warm, take a breath, and let's explore what it means to live the examined life in our complex modern age. Socrates lived in Athens during the 5th century BCE, a period of great political turmoil, cultural innovation, and intellectual awakening. Unlike the sophists of his time, who charged money to teach rhetoric and persuasion, Socrates didn't claim to teach anything at all. Instead, he walked the streets asking inconvenient questions. What is justice? What is virtue? What does it mean to live a good life? Through his dialogues, mostly recorded by his student Plato, Socrates revealed that many of the people who thought they had all the answers actually knew very little. His relentless questioning, now known as the Socratic method, exposed contradictions, encouraged humility, and pushed individuals to refine their beliefs. But his commitment to critical inquiry and moral integrity ultimately led to his execution. He was charged with corrupting the youth and impiety, essentially for challenging the status quo. Socrates chose death over abandoning his principles. His final words? "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius. Please don't forget to pay the debt." A cryptic, yet profound nod to healing and rebirth. When Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living, he wasn't advocating for endless navel-gazing. He meant that to live meaningfully, we must constantly question ourselves, our values, motivations, assumptions, and actions. But here's the thing. Socrates lived in a world without smartphones, mass surveillance, global capitalism, or artificial intelligence. So how do we apply his call to self-examination today? Let's break it down. Cancel culture and moral absolutism. Socrates encouraged open dialogue, even when it was uncomfortable. Today, however, public discourse is often governed by fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being misinterpreted, fear of being canceled. In a society quick to judge and slow to forgive, what would Socrates say? He'd likely argue that cancel culture reflects a failure of the examined life, replacing dialogue with dogma, complexity with outrage. For him, no one was above questioning, and no belief immune to scrutiny, including his own. Can we disagree without dehumanizing? Can we challenge injustice without silencing dissent? These are Socratic questions worth asking in our moral landscape. Consumerism and the ethical self. Our identities today are often shaped by what we consume: clothes, tech, brands, content. In contrast, Socrates famously lived in poverty and rejected materialism, insisting that the soul's health was more important than wealth or status. Ask yourself, are my choices aligning with my values, or just driven by convenience and social validation? To live ethically in a consumer-driven society means examining not just what we buy, but why we buy it, and what kind of world those choices support. Artificial intelligence and moral responsibility. AI is reshaping everything from medicine to warfare, but it also raises serious ethical questions. If we build machines that can make decisions for us, who's responsible when things go wrong? What values are encoded into the algorithms that shape our news, our jobs, even our relationships? Socrates would likely urge us to ask, what kind of future are we building? And are we thinking deeply enough about the moral costs? In the face of rapid technological change, ethical self-examination becomes not a luxury, but a necessity. Living an examined life doesn't mean retreating to a cave to meditate forever. It means cultivating a habit of inquiry, a commitment to asking better questions, and living more intentionally. Here are some practical Socratic practices you can apply today. Ask, why do I believe what I believe? Whether it's political opinions, religious views, or personal habits, challenge yourself. Trace your beliefs back to their roots. Are they based on evidence, emotion, inherited assumptions? Engage in constructive dialogue. Instead of debating to win, ask questions to understand. Seek out conversations that challenge your perspective, not just echo it. Socrates wasn't interested in preaching. He wanted mutual exploration. In a world of Twitter wars and echo chambers, we could use more of that. Align actions with values. Socrates believed that knowledge and virtue are connected, that knowing the good leads to doing the good. Reflect on whether your daily actions reflect the kind of person you say you want to be. If not, why? What's getting in the way? It's easy to be ethical when it's convenient. But what about when it costs you something? Time, money, reputation, even relationships. Socrates chose death over betraying his values. Most of us won't face that level of choice, but we will face moments that test our integrity. Do we speak up when something's wrong? Do we stay silent to keep the peace? Do we live according to truth or comfort? Ethics in a complex world requires courage, and that courage is born from self-awareness. In a culture obsessed with speed, appearance, and instant gratification, the examined life slows us down. It asks us to look inward, to reflect, to own our lives fully. But that's exactly why it's powerful. To examine your life is to reclaim agency. To question your values is to clarify your direction. To live intentionally is to resist being swept away by the noise. Socrates didn't offer easy answers. He offered something better, the tools to seek truth on your own terms. In a world of superficiality, the examined life is an act of rebellion. And maybe, just maybe, it's the path to genuine freedom. If this exploration resonated with you, if you feel inspired to question more deeply, to live more ethically, to reconnect with what truly matters, then you're already on the path of the examined life. And we'd love to walk it with you. Backhand Index Pointing Right, subscribe to The Unfolding Journey for more thought-provoking content on philosophy, ethics, and conscious living. New videos every week, timeless wisdom for modern lives. Because life is not just something we live. It's something we unfold, one question at a time. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and keep unfolding.